Hi, it's Minty Green Mama, and I would like to just uh, make a quick video today about the Moonchild Tarot. It is a gorgeous deck that I've only had for a short while, so I haven't had a lot of time to work with it. However, I have been so surprised by this deck. It has been genuinely amazing to work with. I've been so incredibly surprised at the connection I've had with this deck that I wanted to show it in a video. Now, I had debated about whether to do a video about this one because I believe it could be sold out on her website. It was the last time I checked at, this is Danielle Noel. Sorry, I am not always the best at pronunciations, but Danielle, either Noel or Noel, is the author and illustrator of this gorgeous deck. And she actually has another deck called the Starchild Tarot. And I thought about buying that off and on for a while. I didn't end up buying it because I didn't think I would connect with the artwork, which is it's got, you know, some photographs in it, manipulated like photography and computer work, and that is not the style that I generally usually connect with. Not that it's a bad style, it's just generally speaking I am drawn to more like hand-drawn artwork. And so I kind of debated on her other deck, and when I went to finally purchase it, I saw that she was taking pre-orders for the Moonchild Tarot, and I thought, you know what, I'm still not 100% sure about her other deck, but why not kind of take a chance and pre-order the new one and see what happens. So I did, and it completely the luckiest thing that happened to me because as soon as I got this deck, I knew it was something like special, and I went through the images and I was so surprised how well I connected with them and this style of artwork, and how much it's like really speaking to me, the images in the cards, and how well I can get like intuitive hits on the images. So I thought, you know, even though it might be sold out, I still wanted to do a video to kind of show it off and talk about some of the beautiful images and the amazing work that's gone into this. Because I'm hoping that it'll be available again soon. So this is the Moonchild Tarot, again by Danielle Noel. Oh goodness. And this box, first of all, is absolutely amazing. It has, like, you can feel like the raised, some of the design here is like raised, and you can feel it, and you can feel that little like moon there, and it's just amazing. It's a very sturdy box. It has some of the images on the back, and it has inside oh, my cards around are some really gorgeous images. That is one of the bonus cards, I believe, in the deck. And then on the inside of the bottom, you have a moon that says, "You are the dance of light and shadow." So gorgeous and so pretty. And so, just quickly, I tried to do this video before, and I ended up just talking about this little guidebook for ages, and so I was like, okay, that's probably too long. But let me just sum it up by saying that this is an amazing guidebook. Yes, it is, you know, the size of the cards. It's not a huge guidebook. I always like decks that come with like a full-size book, but this has so much information in it. And now this, keep in mind, this is just my opinion based on, I have not worked with her other deck, so I am not familiar with the Starchild Tarot. I am sure for those people, you know, that have that they are not amazed by the quality of this deck. However, I have not had a chance to work with her other stuff, so I am just absolutely amazed by the amount of information in this book and the quality of the deck and the quality of the guidebook. I'm just so thrilled. So just quickly to go through, it's a 270-page guidebook, full color. It has an introduction, some lunar history, information about the goddess, which I am very much on a path of learning about and connecting more with the divine feminine. Even though I've always felt a connection with the divine feminine, I am just really, this last year has been a year of reconnecting with basically nature, the natural cycles, and the divine feminine. And I feel like that's more and more needed in society right now. And it's just too easy to take things for granted, like nature and the cycles of the year and everything, and not really appreciate them and work with them. And I feel like so much can be missed out in life, basically, when we're not celebrating the divine feminine in the form of, especially, the goddess and Mother Earth. So that's something that I'm working with my children and myself. So I really appreciate things that have a very feminine aspect. So for here, it has like the goddess, and of course, this is the Moonchild tarot, so it has a focus on the moon, which I've always associated with very feminine, intuitive energy. So I really appreciate that. And it has a little history of tarot. And then it has, interestingly, it has like the major arcana in 3 major planes of existence, and it lists which cards are on which plane, which I find very interesting. Has some information on the court cards and each of the suits, a little information about shuffling your cards, reading your cards, working with the moon. So this is something that I particularly like, tarot and the moon, a whole section about using the moon to combine like your moon work and combining the phases of the moon with your tarot work, which is something that I absolutely love, and I am going to start doing that with this deck. So I'm very looking forward to that. Okay, so the this is the major arcana. I mean, all that information before you even get to the card meanings. It's amazing. So when you get to the cards, you have kind of like a full color image, and then 2 pages. And not just with the majors, but also in the suits with all of the minors. So you have all of that information. You have astrological information. You have gemstones associated with the card. You have some questions for self-reflection and for journaling. It's amazing. And you have keywords. Just absolutely amazing amount of information in this book. And let's see. Okay, so I don't want to talk forever about this book, but something that I missed the first time around, so I just did want to point this out, is that because I have not read the whole book, I have just glanced through the beginning and the end, and then I had read through some of the cards that I had been pulling in my readings. So I had not read the whole thing, so I missed out. Right after the major arcana section, you have this section called bonus keys, and it has, let's see, over the following pages are 3 bonus cards that are included in the deck, and it says how you can use those. There's a shadow work, divine wisdom, and Moonchild, but it doesn't just have the 2-page spread for each of those extra cards. It also has all this extra information that you can use to work with those cards. It's amazing about shadow work. My cat decided to chime in. And so it's just so much information. Look at that gorgeous illustration right there, as above, so below. So I could spend a lot of time just talking about this book. It's so amazing. So definitely when I opened the book and realized how much information was in here, that's been one of the biggest bonuses for me with this deck. So, and then it has a whole section on lunar magic, which is just amazing. I feel like that's just a really amazing thing to have in your guidebook, and and different ways to work with your deck. So I'm just super excited about all of that, and I plan on reading through the whole. Ooh, my camera did something funny. I plan on reading through the whole guidebook. So this is the deck. Absolutely stunning, gorgeous, amazing. So gold's design, reversible design, and you can kind of feel a little bit of the design work. I feel it doesn't stand out a lot, but I feel like I can kind of feel the image a little bit, which I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm sure you could see the beautiful, beautiful gilding on the sides. It's like a gold, but kind of like a matte gold. So I just love it. And the images have a little thing on the bottom with the title. And it has little symbols on this one. I don't know. That might just be, let's see. Yeah, I think that's just on the court cards, perhaps. This is an interesting one. So it has like this is a Page of Cups. It has like a heart used in water. So, oh, this is, sorry, King, the King of Cups. So I like that. And it's this really gorgeous cardstock. It's like, not too thick to shuffle, but it's sturdy. It's very sturdy, fairly thick. And it's just kind of got that really nice, like, fairly matte finish on it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So just go through some of the images and save. I like to save a few out. So if you have this or getting this, you can be surprised. But this one, the Hierophant, is one of my absolute favorite cards in this deck. And the Hierophant is a very important card for me. It's my birth card in the tarot, and I always like to look at how it's represented. I don't always like how it's represented in decks. It's not one of it's not one of the prettier cards, generally speaking. So in this deck, I really connect with it, and that's very special to me. Oh, look, the universe. Absolutely gorgeous. I feel like there's just very intuitive feel to these cards. You get some of the same ideas that you get from traditional, like Rider-Waite, Smith images, but you can even take it like a different direction. So you can get even like fresh ideas that maybe, for me, like if I just for example, the Six of Pentacles. So, when I think of a traditional Six of Pentacles, I think of somebody handing out coins to people, like generosity and gift giving and that kind of thing. And so with this image, it's a little bit different. It's somebody sitting, she looks like she's meditating, and she has the coins around her and this kind of like cosmic hallway and sitting on the ground. And so when I'm looking at this, I can recall some of the traditional symbolism and images, but I also, can get, because of like the different imagery, I can get like some fresh perspectives on the meaning of this. So, for me, like one of the first things I get is just putting things in perspective, putting wealth in perspective, like that having enough can be a matter of perspective. Like, are you really needing the, something, or is it just a a desire, as far as like keeping up with your neighbor, that kind of thing, like putting things into a perspective. And let me just see what it says in the book. And I'm sure if I sat with that card longer, I could get even more ideas, you know. So let's see. The Six of Pentacles illuminates a sacred balance that arises when our heart is aligned with compassion and generosity. This points to harmonious blessings that ensue from being of service to others, but it can also indicate states of lack when you may need some kind of support as well. The soul of this key prompts us to think about how we give in relation to how much we receive, when ego and motive are excluded from reason. And then it kind of goes on, because there's a lot of information in here. So it's a very interesting take on that, I feel. So here's shadow work, one of the bonus cards. And strength. Strength is another one of the cards I feel very attached to in the tarot. And I like that image of it, although it's very different. It's almost like she's like so not worried about that lion that she's just gonna go do her own thing and, you know, trust that he is just hanging out. The sun. So I just Ten of Cups. I just was really surprised with how well I connected with this deck based on the artwork and, you know, just the colors in general are very like a muted and kind of pastel, whereas I generally like very vibrant colors, although not always. My goodness, this video, my lights are going crazy, my cat's meowing. Four of Pentacles. Six of Wands. It's an interesting look on her face. I don't know if you can see that very well, but almost like wistful or contemplative. I don't know. So here is Divine Wisdom. This is the image that was on the inside of the box and on the front of the guidebook. It's one of the bonus cards. Oh, I love this one. Eight of Swords. Some of the images have what looks like a very vintagey style photograph used in them, and I really like those. Oh, this one, the moon and the Moonchild. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I mean, they're, oh, look at this death card. Look at that. They're all gorgeous. And I did do a deck interview with this deck, and based on that deck interview and based on what information, you know, I have received and how this deck has read for me, as well as others that I have had the opportunity to read for, I really feel like this is going to be a deck that sticks around, not just for a month or two, you know, but that stays in my tarot repertoire. Three of Swords. So, Eight of Wands. And I should mention too that in the back of the guidebook are several spreads, and also there's a bibliography for further reading, which I just love. I just absolutely love books that have either suggested reading or further reading, bibliographies, all that stuff. I just absolutely love that. It's a Hanged Man. That looks like a woman, I think. And this is interesting because she's just kind of there, you know, she's not actually hanging from anything. So, and you have the moon in the background. So I find that very interesting. Oh, this Tower card is amazing. Amazing. So I feel like this deck has read really well for just everyday situations as well as big events, from my experience so far. I've just had it for just a short while. I'm trying to think of when I got it, and I can't, oh, look at this, the Five of Wands. I can't quite remember exactly when I got it, but I have been so happily surprised, and I've just fallen in love with this deck. And oh my gosh, when I that light, oh my goodness. Oh, I love this one too, the Seven of Pentacles. Let's see. This is an interesting one, Knight of Wands. And this is the Moonchild card. Gorgeous. I love this one. So, oh yeah, this one's gorgeous too. I could just sit here and just say how gorgeous these are. Oh wow. And the colors in that one are lovely. I love like the bluish greens, you know, in there. Eight of Cups. And for the longest time, not the longest time, but it took me a while to spot the little figure. In this, I saw the cups right away, and I guess because of the colors, like she kind of just blended in, and I just thought it was a landscape. But there is actually somebody there. But interestingly enough, to me it looks like she's walking toward the area where the cups are versus away from the cups. So that one hasn't come up in a reading yet, so I'm interested to see when it does come up in a reading how that's going to be interpreted. This one's gorgeous. Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. The Magician. So, oh, and the Fool. I always like to look at the Fool in each deck and kind of see. And this one, I mean, they're really about to step off into the abyss, right? Into outer space, into the unknown. The Eight of Pentacles. So, I really do like this deck, and I'm so surprised in a good way how well I connect with it. I feel like this is a very good deck for intuitive reading. It has worked really well for me. You know, using the guidebook as a jumping off point and kind of getting an understanding of the image, and then using that and to interpret it intuitively based on not just the guidebook but previous readings, you know, with different decks, kind of incorporating all of that into this deck. Three of Wands. Which is, I'm sure, how most people read tarot. You can't unlearn the stuff that you've already learned from different decks. Two of Swords. I love that. Love that one. And see, this one has a very Atlantis feel to me. The Page of Cups. The Three of Pentacles. And see, this one, I mean, just some of the images like strike me as not what I would expect, but knowing the meanings that I'm accustomed to and combining them with the images and going with my intuition has just really worked really well as far as readings that I've done with this deck. So Wheel of Fortune. So I'm very happy, very happy. This one I actually took some time and sat with. It was a very different, I had a very different feeling from this Ten of Swords. This is the Ten of Swords than I have had other Ten of Swords. Like you think of like the Rider-Waite-Smith image of somebody laying on the ground and bleeding, you know, with the swords stabbed through their back. With this, they seem like the swords seem very like, I don't know, like almost that could just be like a metaphor because you don't see like the blood and the gore and stuff, but you do get that idea of like being stabbed in the back. But I also like really get a vibe of psychic attack from this. Is, you know, it's like almost like a anxiety attack, or, you know, like just maybe even a psychic attack as far as like dealing with energy vampires or that kind of a thing. Like I get like just, you know, different ideas come to me when I see the images in this deck, which I really appreciate. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and this one's gorgeous. I love her dress, the Chariot. I'll do, let's see. Oh yeah, here's the Devil. I'm always interested in the Devil card in different decks. Okay, and then this will be the last one. Oh. Some of them are trying to jump out. The Empress. So, they are, you know, fairly large card, and the deck is, you know, fairly large, but it's not, so, in my hands, I don't know, like, how to show it, but here we go. They're pretty much, you know, fairly large for my hand size, but I have been able to shuffle it fairly well. I do a combination of like a rifle shuffle and an overhand shuffle, so I have had not really any problems with that, although it's not like the easiest for me to shuffle. Alright, so let's draw one card and see what this deck has to say to us today. The Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands. So let's see what the guidebook has to say about that. The Eight of Wands. So the little description on the side says, a great statue of the ancient Egyptian solar god Ra stands atop a gateway to a mysterious, otherworldly space ahead. Behind this portal, the full moon rises above a shimmering desert landscape, indicating the cycles of time and new possibilities which await beyond this doorway. Ra initiates us into a higher state of awakening. And the keywords are inquiry, movement, change, action, and travel. And the one of the like affirmations we have is, I seek the mystic's path, which I love because that is what I'm doing with this deck. And so this, see, and I don't really get the same feeling of swift action as I do with some other Eight of Wands cards, but this one says it's a card of swift action, transition, and positive news. Positive news. A little side note, it is late at night. I have been wanting to do this video for ages, and I waited till the kids were in bed to come down and do it, and my words, I feel like they're all kind of running together. But I really wanted to get this video done about this deck. Once I decided to do it, I was so excited. So it's a little late. I'm a little loopy for being tired. So hopefully, if you're still even watching, that my words aren't completely running together and you can understand this. But yeah, so let's see. And this is the kind of energy that ignites your momentum, forcing you to get up and make things happen. Could also highlight positive success through group strength and cooperation. And see, that's just some of the information you get. You also get, let's see, so this one is not, so you do not get the gemstone or astrological associations on the minors. Excuse me. So that is a little different, but still. Oh, and look at this. Okay, so then but you do get the affirmations. And then it looks like on the majors, you get the astrological associations and the gemstone correspondences, but you don't get the affirmations. So interesting. Very interesting. And I shall have to read through the guidebook to learn more about why they have it set up the way that they do. But I am so thrilled with this deck. I've probably said this 6 times, but I am so surprised at how much I love it, how much I click with the artwork, how much I'm able to appreciate artwork that up until recently I haven't really enjoyed or connected with. And this has just been an amazing experience of getting to know this deck, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know this deck a lot better in the coming months, and actually just the rest of this year. Hopefully I will have a lot of time to spend with it and to do some good journaling work, because I feel like this is going to be a really good journaling deck. But also working with the moon in association with the tarot, I'm really excited about that too. So this was the the Moonchild Tarot by Danielle Noel. I hope I'm saying her name right. I've been not watching other reviews about this deck until I was able to voice my own opinions, because I've kind of like to have this as a record for myself for later of kind of my first thoughts on the deck. So hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. With the Moonchild Tarot. So I've really enjoyed talking about this deck, and if you're still watching, I hope that you enjoyed the deck, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.